since time began. Raw side paranormal seeks the truth, looking for some kind of real proof. Creepy floorboards and eerie dark mist. Grab your camera and document this. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the wrong side. A friend door causes a fright. A shadow hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. The icy air touches your neck. You feel like screaming, but you stay in check. All rising up to take the magical flight. You can't believe what's happening tonight. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Raw Side Wednesday. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's well. I'm holding in there as usual. Let's see who's come to join us and these wonderful men that we're going to have on tonight. Hello, Holly. How's it going? Petals, how are you? Miss Sage, how's it going? Phil's in the house. Hello, Ozzy Cat. Mr. Prism is here. Hello, Cree. Cree, get your questions ready. Oh, no, Sarah B. Hello, how are you? Let's see who else. Betty, Miss Betty, sweet Miss Betty, how are you? Glad that you all could join in. I'm really excited about this show because there's so many questions and so many unanswered questions. And hopefully these three gentlemen will help us figure things out. Hello, Janice. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. If I miss any, oh, there's Miss Carla. Hey, Ryan, how's it going? If I miss anybody, just shout out, hey, look at me. I'm over here, and I will give you a shout out. Miss Leanne. Hey, Leanne, I'm streaking across your lawn. That's a scary thought. But without further ado, guys, because I really want to jump into this subject, welcome the wonderful men of the paranormal.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, hello, guys. How is everybody doing today?
No.
Sorry.
Wake up, me. So I hope you guys are well. Thank you again for joining me. And again, I apologize for the avatar. I'm a hot mess tonight. So this is what you get. So it is what it is. And nobody's drank enough to really to accept, what's behind the window there. So
I don't think there's any worry. I mean, look at the three of us. There ain't nothing special going on here.
Well, I got the hair's up in a ponytail, no makeup, and just not appropriate. So you guys could get away with it because you're smooth.
Mine's in a ponytail in the back. You just can't see.
He's got a mullet.
Mullet. Are they coming back into style?
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
He said, I hope not. Yeah, me too.
The both of y'all could totally rock a mullet.
I'm game.
Just ignore the bald spot on the back.
Creeping up on you, huh?
Oh, yeah, for years.
Just be brave. Take it all off.
No, I've done that.
No. Just don't ever do like the toupee thing, because that's just wrong.
No.
Totally wrong. So thanks again, guys, for joining us. Thanks everybody for joining. And remember, guys, ask those questions. We love the questions. The harder, the better. And what I'm going to do is just have you guys explain to everybody, myself included, pretty much infrasound. What is it?
Okay, y'all want to go first or what?
Hey, you can go Friday.
No, you got this.
Well, infrasound, it's basically any frequency of sound that is below the threshold of human hearing. And not all humans are the same, but in general, it's below 20 cycles a second. So anything below that is considered infrasound. And most people, their higher range is cut off at 20,000 cycles a second, or 20 kilohertz. So that's considered ultrasound. But any kind of vibration, and it doesn't have to be through air, it can be through water, steel, whatever. Sound to sound, it just travels through a medium. It's just for our purposes, for hearing, it's through air. So that's basically what infrasound is. Anything below 20 cycles a second, below your range of hearing.
Great explanation. Couldn't have said it better myself.
You guys don't want to add anything to it?
I'm
He's just going to sit back.
I think Friday's got this.
My next question is, they say that infrasound does affect people and their bodies and how they feel. What is the basis on that, and how true is that? How does it interfere with the human body?
So I was reading a little on this today because I wasn't 100% sure. And there are a few different aspects to it, some of which seems that obviously there's a very wide range in that sub 20 hertz that humans can't hear. And there's a frequency that some people refer to as the ghost frequency around the 19 hertz range, where they say that it vibrates the liquid behind your eyeballs. Am I right on that? I'm not sure what that liquid is called. But there's also just a lot of claims of anxiety and different ailments. Now, when I actually looked at the scholarly research into it, I found that there's a lot of conflicting reports. Some research reports said that it did have an effect on the participants in their studies, and some said it didn't. So it's kind of up in the air on what the true effects of infrasound are. And we have to think about the fact that infrasound exists in so many places. Even right now, you just aren't aware of it. And it's just a wide spectrum, right? That feeling effects at one frequency may be very, very different from the effects of another. And so the science is still, or the jury, which is a bunch of scientists, are still kind of out at the moment.
Right. I'm the same way. It was the originally it was from a scientist in the 1960s. I had it here home. Vladimir. I'm going to butcher his name. Gavru. Yeah, I'm going to drink on that because I know it's
Close enough.
but he, I know the story. As the story goes, he was in a lab. People were reporting about seeing like shadows in the side of the side view, the peripheral.
Yeah.
And then there was also issues about feeling nauseated and unbalanced and this and that kind of thing like that. So he did some digging and found that there was low frequencies coming off of some of the machinery. I think it was a large ventilation fan.
Yeah.
That was in the lab, and it was causing this low frequency, which came through the lab and was affecting people. But I also agree with Mason, because later tests, there's been papers all over the place, and you can read both sides where they thought it was used for marketing at one point, to, like in horror movies, to get people to feel anxiety and tension. But there's the other side of the coin is that testing revealed like nothing happened. It didn't have an effect on people. So unfortunately, right now, I think it's unsure. We're not sure if it actually causes any illnesses. We can reference the Great and Powerful Mythbusters and their episode where nothing happened. And they pumped it in right above people in the house. I mean, they had a big speaker pumping it in a few feet away, and no one experienced anything above the norm. So that should tell you something. I mean, it's the Mythbusters.
Right.
Judgment is final.
Exactly.
So yeah, and to read it, I know there's certain apps that claim that they can use your phone in order to pick up infrasound, but for the most part, you'd have to look up your phone's frequency range. But for the most part, you need specialized equipment. And when I looked into it, this is a couple years ago, when I looked into it, it was well out of my price range to afford those microphones. So not going to do it. And as far as I'm concerned, like if someone is claiming infrasound is the cause of it, our first question should be, where's your data?
Right.
And go from there. So I'll shut up now.
Right. No, right.
Tag, you're it.
We got a question here from Goth Gal. She wants to. We know the age of the ears affects what decibels can be detected. Could the age of a person affect evidence review?
Yeah.
Is it audio evidence? Because then absolutely.
Right.
But it depends.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically what affects one person doesn't always affect anybody else. So you may have one study where they had a bunch of people that were affected by it, and then another study where they had a bunch of people that were used to it. Because if they live in like a city setting where they have a lot of infrastructure, they're going to get a lot of infrasound all the time. They'll be used to it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I never thought about it that way, but yeah.
And I mean, people have, it's not just hearing. I mean, we go through that now. People hear different recordings, and they'll come up with different responses. Like they'll hear the same recording, and people will come up with variations of what they hear, and that's based on context, expectation, what they're hearing, the device that's being used. Because I mean, when you go from a speaker, say like large, well, I don't have a large speaker, like stereo speakers in your car or something, to a speaker in your phone, which is tiny, you're going to have a difference there, a difference in tone and sound, and amplification. So there's a lot of factors to consider, not just whether it's the person's hearing, but that is a factor. I mean, our hearing does decrease in range as we age, and especially like my hearing is not the greatest. And I worked in automotive, so I was working with Air Tools for decades. So that definitely had an impact on my hearing. A quick story: we took my son when he was very, very little to a hearing doctor because we thought he might have hearing issues, because he wasn't talking. He was slow to start talking, and he thought it might have been his hearing. So we're in a special booth for kids, and he's reacting to things. And I'm watching lights light up on the wall, and I asked the nurse, I'm like, is there a noise every time there's a light that comes on? And she's like, yeah. I don't hear any of them.
Oh, wow. See that?
So she wanted to make an appointment for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of factors when it comes to that.
I know. Well, there's a big difference. Like between my husband can't hear half of what I pick up, and I think my senses are heightened because of my fibromyalgia. Because I can hear things for great distances. I'll be sitting somewhere and I go, "Did you hear that?" And he'll be like, "What are you talking about?" And then the next thing you know, like a fire truck or something will be coming barreling down the street, but it might have been miles away,
Right.
and I just pick up those sounds. And that's why I love listening to EVPs, because I pretty much can pick up these things that are in the background that might be far away that somebody else isn't picking up. And I do believe it's from the fibromyalgia. Heightening my senses, because my sense of smell too. He calls me bloodhound nose. I'll be, just standing somewhere. I go, something's on fire. I smell it. And then,
my wife and I have different ranges, because we can sit in front of the television and only be about like 8 to 10 feet away. And I can't hear the dialogue. I have to turn it up. She can hear it where it's like, I need to be right up against the TV to hear what they're saying. That's how
Right.
I keep it. However, I could be in the bedroom on one side of the house, and there is a noise in the garage, which is on the other side, the opposite side of the house. And I'll be in bed, almost asleep, going, something's in the garage. Hold on.
Right.
And
Yes. Isn't it weird?
it's weird. It is weird. And I don't know why, but
We just pick up on that stuff. Like same thing, like my parents live downstairs from me. I can hear everything that goes on down there. And no matter where I am in my house, I can hear people talking. I can hear the full conversation. So it's,
Yeah, I also think. Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was thinking it also depends on the location. For instance, when I go into an investigation, I tend to hear a lot more because, whether I like it or not, some element of priming is coming into play. So all of the sounds that I would typically ignore in my own home are amplified in places like that. And it's a similar deal when you're listening to EVPs, right? You're listening intently versus if you're watching TV and you're more just relaxed and less alert.
right.
Right.
And new places have new noises, new sounds, new everything. And you might become hyper aware, leading to a lot of, did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Right.
Because you don't know that it's a normal sound for that house.
Right. Yeah, absolutely right. Cree wants to know, did any of you see the Paranormal Quest investigation where they used a portion of it to focus on sound and paranormal effects?
Is that the one with Seg?
Yes.
Oh, I got a lot to say about that.
Let us have it. I didn't see that one.
That was, to be nice, that was a joke. That was not a proper experiment whatsoever. The person that was doing that was not a scientist. He was not anywhere qualified to do that. He was somebody that worked for that location.
Red flag
So-
one.
And there was no indication that the speakers that they were using could actually put out the frequencies they were claiming. There was a lot of just, it was a poorly constructed and planned. I wouldn't even call it an experiment because it just wasn't. It was terrible. And I mean, I'm not speaking for Seg, but to me, even with a mask on, he looked like he was bored as fuck.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Because I was in that stream, well, not stream, when they did it live, and I
Right.
was commenting like, "Look, guys, you have no idea if the speakers can do that range. You didn't actually test to see if it's putting out that frequency out to where they are. What's using it, and they were talking about like studied the FBI and all this, and it was not. I mean, a lot of the stuff that he said was completely false. So that angered me a lot seeing that, because it was just bad research and poor methodology. So
I think he was trying to do binaural beats, and that's what he was talking about. And it wasn't the FBI; that was CIA with the Monroe Institute. If that's what he was trying to do, I think that's what he was trying to say. Is it was the binaural beats.
So I have a video coming out on this in a couple of days because I watched it and I thought, oh, this is something I should talk about. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about it, to give the guy who did it, Reality Remixer, a little credit, it's something I hadn't seen before. It was something that I would call an attempt at innovation. Good, bad, or otherwise, it's something new. and I'm tired of the old stuff, right? So I sat down and attempted to really, pick apart what he was trying to do and give, and Kenny, you are very right. Like there were a lot of massive flaws with this experiment, if you want to call it an experiment, that need to be addressed. And that was more or less what this video that's coming out is going to be about. But, so I talked with the guy, and I agree about the CIA stuff as well. People have this tendency to confuse when the CIA looks at research papers and gives their own analysis of someone else's work, and when they themselves do the work. I saw it with Skinwalker Ranch, and it's the same deal here, where the CIA may have taken a look at the results and gave their opinion, which, by the way, didn't validate any of it. They just gave an opinion, and then it gets misconstrued into, actually, the CIA tested this and said, yeah, it's true. Right. And when I looked, it wasn't, just like you said. And something that was a major flaw, if you look at the video, there are people up in the break room right above them, and they say, Seg says, like, we can hear their voices. I think Dave does too. Right. And that's extremely important for an audio-based experiment. It invalidates all of it, all in one go.
Right. Yeah. Total contamination.
But yeah, I think because I did email him, and he was kind enough to provide some data from the EDI, which is a kind of I don't want to call it a data logger because it's still more of a gadget. Yeah. But it does give some data. He gave me that data to look at, and he seemed sincere in what he was attempting to do. But like you said, there are a lot of problems that need to be addressed. So
I agree with you about like attempting something different. I'm totally on board with that, as long as it's there's a reason for it, not just lawn darts. But as long as there's a reason for it and it's properly done, like a lot of the stuff, like some of the things I was pointing out was that the gentleman that was running it, I guess, said things like, yeah, I think it does this. I think it does that. Yeah. And that just, wow. I'm cringing now just remembering it. But that's not a well-researched experiment or even a method. I mean, take the time. If you're going to do this, and especially put it out in public, just make sure you put time into it and really read up on it. Don't go off of rumors or I think it does this. It might do this. We don't know, but we're going to try it anyway. That's just not a valid way to experiment at all.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. There's a complete lack of the scientific method within the experiment. None of the proper procedures were followed. You have I say it several times in the video, leading the witness, where the participants are being given information they shouldn't have. There's no control. There's no base levels. Yeah. Right. And the big kicker was, I think those speakers, they're amplified, and I think they were giving off enough EMF to set off the EDI. If you look as they mess with the frequencies, the EDI begins to almost pulse in sync with the speakers themselves. Oh. And it was super interesting.
We have to I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Good.
No, I was just saying it's super interesting from a debunking gadgets perspective, which was the other half of the reason I wanted to cover this, because so many of the gadgets were going off and nobody seemed to know why. But yeah.
So I would want to look closer at it, because I mean, I have two of them. And if it's set on vibration, that would answer your question, because it would be going with a beat.
They said it was set for EMF, but
it has vibration as well. Yeah, and that was kind of the up in the air part.
I'm not going to say that they were lying, but it could have been mistaken, and it wasn't on EMF.
Right.
So, I mean, I know that the one that I have, the reason I got two of them was because the first one they sent me, I put a battery in it, and it went all over the place. It just, the readings were not accurate at all. It was just all over the place, no matter what I put it on. Because you have to do one at a time, like temperature or EMF or vibration. So they sent me another one, which was nice of them. But again, I have the same problems that you have, Mason. Is that like it's okay. It logs some data, not as much as I would, not as many samples per second that I would like, but it's interesting. It's at least it's a step up from the routine stuff that we usually see.
Right, and that's the credit I was kind of giving him. But Friday actually found that the EDI is, Friday. I can let you talk about the EDI at lower levels of EMF.
Friday's talking too much.
I'm listening.
Don't be shy.
Now, I did a little reading on the device. It wasn't a whole lot, but basically, it's like any other. I'm assuming that it's just a low frequency AC EMF detection in there, like every other cheap meter that's out there, because it said below. What was that? Below 30 hertz and above 30 hertz. Well, usually the range is 1 to 100 hertz. Anywhere in there, you pick stuff up, and that's going to pick up your 60 hertz for line frequency. Around 7 hertz, you have the what do they call that? It starts with an S. The resonant frequency for
sine wave.
No, sine wave is a type of wave.
Yeah.
I can't. It's a really weird word. Basically, it's the resonant frequency between the ionosphere and the Earth for lightning strikes. So it's like a 7.83 hertz or something like that. But you can actually get this if your meter is sensitive enough. You can pick it up. These cheap devices are not. They're just junk. Especially if you have a multi-device, you have to have a circuit in there for every single function. And it's really stripped down to fit into this tiny box. So it's really limited on what it's going to tell you in the first place.
Right. And we should say real fast. So I reached out to SEG to ask him more about this experiment. And SEG and Paranormal Quest went into this pretty much blind. They were not aware of what this was going to be. All they kind of knew was that it was a test involving frequencies. So I don't want to put any of the, blame or criticism and critique we give onto them. They were not really a part of it. They were just participants, and they didn't really know what they were getting into.
I'm going to blame SEG anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think
That's a given. Yeah.
It's his fault.
Prism, the Schumann resonance. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prism. Yeah.
Prism's on it.
But yeah, I agree with you, Mason, that I don't put the blame on the PQ guys or SEG. Not really. I mean, I would ask a lot more questions, and I think SEG asked a few questions, but I place blame solely on the gentleman that ran the thing. I can't call it an experiment. It hurts.
Yeah. It does seem like the EDI compared to some of the other tools as well, like the K2, is slightly more sensitive. And that was why it was being affected, because they had what I believe is the K2 to the left side and the EDI on the right. And the EDI was going off a lot, and the K2 wasn't. And I think the EDI actually is more sensitive than most of the other EMF detectors you can buy on the market for whatever that's worth.
I'm looking at the specs, and it says that it's only a single axis, so that might also be the reason why. And then, because if that was standing up and the K2 was laying down, now you're on a different plane, so it's not going to pick up. This says accurate milligauss readings from 0 to 11. That's it. Anywhere above 11, I guess it's not accurate.
Wow.
And this is from Ghost Stop. That's the specs that they have on there.
Go stop.
Yeah.
I know. They've got everything.
Yeah, I browse their catalog and I sigh mostly.
Yeah, I pretty much do the same thing.
I die inside.
Yeah.
Pinky wants to know, could it be because the sounds are different at different frequencies and your ears pick up different frequencies to each other?
Yes,
Could it be?
but that's how sound works. That's how you have different sounds as different frequencies.
And then Mr. Prism says a lot of people say that the scientific method doesn't apply to the paranormal. What are your thoughts on this? And he wants an answer from all of you.
Show's over.
Yeah.
I mean, if I would answer that saying that the people that are saying that likely do not understand the scientific method, don't understand its relevance in what they're doing, and would rather rely on belief and assumptions and people accepting what they say at face value than hard evidence. That would be my first response. And second response would be they need to buy a science book and read it. And that's it. That's all. That's all I'm going to say.
That's your basics.
That's a base. Yeah, basics.
Yeah.
Science for
And I
kids.
think the basics can take you pretty far. I mean, most of what I do on investigations is practical application. And obviously I go in with a little bit of a different setup because I go in to test paranormal claims and I have time to think ahead. But I think, well, I think we should try to follow the scientific method to the best of our abilities, knowing full well that we cannot follow it to a T in most cases. But that's not a reason to disregard it entirely. We need to still try to follow it as best we can, even when we can't have perfect procedures. Like, for instance, the fact that you have to pay, $300 a night to investigate these places rules out the ability to test for a year so you can establish your baselines, your controls. You don't get any of that ability. You just don't.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you throw out everything else you can do. You need to follow the principles as best you can. And like Kenny said, the best way to do that is to learn the basics and really have a concrete understanding of the basics.
Yeah, another reason why you can't really use scientific method on something that's intangible is it's intangible. I mean, if you have another realm of reality out there and we can only test the reality we're in with tools made in this reality, then you can't go beyond that. So in that sense, you wouldn't be able to test the paranormal, but you can eliminate what could be mimicking an event that would make you think it was a haunting or ghost or something like that. And that's really what our tools are for. They're really just to see what's going on here and try to find out the truth, what's going on. That's why I'm really picky about these tools being used. You want to use the tool that's right for it. Don't get some multi-device that just blinks a light at you. No, you want those numbers. You want to see what's going on.
Right. In an effort to rule out all the natural
Yeah.
causes.
Yeah, that stupid
There you
light
go.
thing. God, I hate that one. You ticked me off.
That's
I'm
not
out of here.
good.
I'm
Come on.
gone.
Oh,
Oh,
he's offended. He's offended.
You want your ball back?
Yes.
Oh man, that's funny.
Well, actually, what I would like to know is that what kind of equipment would you recommend if you're going to do a short-term investigation somewhere? What is the best equipment that you would recommend for that situation?
Depends on the claim.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's it. You have to know what the claims are to properly test them, because once you know the claims, then you can devise protocols to control the environment as best as possible, design an experiment to test whatever the claim is, and then bring the proper tools in order to carry out and document, record, measure that experiment. So it's extremely important to have all that with you. And I mean, when we're talking about like equipment and stuff, like I bring a spirit level, a Beardo special. I'm always going to get that joke in there. Spirit level, I usually bring a tape measure. I bring an thermometer to measure wind speed. There you go.
Yeah.
And I bring various other things. One item I won't mention because if we can convince Mason at some time during the show to open the package that I gave him, I sent
Oh,
him.
we definitely can. That's
He will
yeah,
have a tool for
Oh, goodies.
a special
we'll
one.
definitely do it. We'll definitely do it.
Special.
One tool I brought on my recent investigation to the Garnett House, like for instance, we talk about investigating claims. Simple tool, a bag of marbles, and all I did was open the bag of marbles and dump them out on the floor to show people that this slant in the floor was ginormous, and
Wow.
those marbles rolled all the way down and into the next room. So, you know, whatever the claim is, you know, you analyze it and you start formulating ways to test it and to rule out any natural causes, which most of the, I would say actually not even most, all of the items I take are to rule out the natural causes. And if you have anything left, then maybe that's something worth exploring. But I also wouldn't call it paranormal. I would just say it's unexplained until I
Right.
could devise an explanation. But those are the kinds of tools that are best for these kinds of investigations, I think.
Yeah, marbles, fantastic. I never even thought of using marbles.
Yeah.
So that is pretty cool.
In a perfect world, I would have had, well, I did bring a laser level as well, so I could take accurate measurements, but
Right.
for demonstration purposes, marbles are a lot more fun.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it just gives you the dead, you know, it
Uh,
gives it away. You know that the place is lopsided. You know what's going on.
Mhm.
So you know you can rule out a lot of stuff when you really. I notice that a lot of people, they don't bring these tools. They don't bring, you know, the levels and the meters to you know, to check wind, because most of the time that's what's rattling the doors or closing the door. It's wind, and it could be just the slightest wind, because some of the doors just that little bit of extra oomph is going to close a door or open a door because it's got a bad latch. So, you know, I really like to see more people bring in these kinds of tools, and instead of, you know, the light show. You know, I don't beat up the people that use them. Play with it, do your experiment, but use the common sense tools as well.
Right.
I just think you're going to get better results.
There's also these unexpected tools. For one, the chubby cub that Mason got, that was an unexpected tool, because you don't think, all right, do I need this? And turns out we did, because it helps you understand the gadget or the object much better when you have it. And the same thing with when we test any kind of ghost gadget, any kind of ghost hunting gadget. I absolutely hate having to buy them, but I will buy one if there's a lot of questions to it and we need to understand what's inside it. I love taking shit apart.
Such a cute gadget.
It is.
And it's just using the equipment correctly, if it is equipment. You can always tell what their intention is by what they're bringing in there. If they're bringing cat balls and a REM pod, they're hunting, they're not investigating.
Right.
Yeah,
If
they're
they go
anomaly
in-
hunting.
Yeah, but if they say, oh, well, I keep feeling this cold air in here. Okay, well, let's see. The house was built before 1980. Guarantee you that thing breathes heavier than somebody with tuberculosis. So
Yeah, pretty much.
you want to take a thermal camera, look around their windows, look around their doors, see how
Yeah.
tight that is. Look at their attic insulation, because if they don't have any attic insulation, you can get a draft through the attic. Get one of those little foggers, and they look like a vape. You just hit a button and it spews out fog, and just see where the fog goes. And if you have a lot of air moving in your closed house, you're just drafty. There's your spirit.
Yeah.
You know, it just depends on how you use your tool and knowing what the tool can do.
Right.
The foggers are really good for air currents as well. I really wanted to
Mhm.
bring them on this last one, but I actually, you might have to be a little careful on who the owner is and whether or not they're watching and going to think that you're burning the place down. So,
I used very thin tissue paper.
yeah, that's a
That
good
could
idea.
work.
That
Yeah.
Could work.
That's old school, baby.
So yeah,
Well,
that's
Spring-
Sprink-
I have used
sprinkling
baby-
some powder.
Yes, I've used baby powder many times when people claim, especially when they claim about table tipping or something like that.
right.
It has been instant ghost repellent. That's it. Like no spirits will tip that table once the powder's on it. It's amazing stuff.
But what if it is truly ghost repellent, Kenny? Did you think about that?
Yeah.
I think he's got you on that one.
Let's see. Cree says, I'm one that doesn't think science and paranormal go together because spiritual is beliefs, but I don't take everything at face value. Why, Kenny, do you think we all do?
Well, first, I don't think we all do. My comments were for the hypothetical situation of people that say that the scientific method doesn't apply to the paranormal. So it was specifically to them. But when it comes to not taking something at face value, you just, in your own question there, you admit to doing it because you're saying these are beliefs. Your spiritual is beliefs,
Right.
and accepting beliefs is taking something at face value because it's without evidence. You're just accepting it. So you answered your own question.
Right. Exactly right. Big Stu wants to know, devil's advocate question. I'm not a fan of a flashlight thing, but what would cause a flashlight set up the way folks do it to respond in perfect timing to questions being asked?
It's the
Cuts.
questions. So they're asking an open-ended question and then waiting for it to do something. So it feels like it's timed, but it's going to be on a cycle anyway, and it depends on the temperature in the room, the power in the batteries that are left, what bulb is in it. There's a lot of factors to look at, but it's not actually timing correctly. It just feels like it, and they want it to be doing that. They want it to be a ghost.
Yeah. And the more nefarious option is that it's the cuts that make it look that way. The cuts in the video itself. How many questions did they ask where nothing happened? And because nothing happened, it didn't make it into the video. Now, whether they realize it or not is one thing, because it may be an unconscious where it's like, oh, well, that's boring. They didn't answer. Let's only put the ones where people answer. But it's still, not the whole truth. You're not getting the full picture when they show you these kinds of things in YouTube videos.
I mean, we have to go right to the beginning of this trick because that's what it is. It's a science trick. And if you have to manipulate the flashlight before anything else, like you as a human being you're manipulating that in order to get something to happen, something that we know will result. There's no reason to consider it paranormal. You just made that happen. So if they think it's timed perfectly, well, yeah, after a while, after a few on and offs, it does get into a routine. It's going to get into
A rhythm. Yeah.
And you can count and time it so that you can ask a question and have it blink on or off, But the thing is, stop asking questions. I guarantee it's going to keep blinking on and off.
Right.
And that should give you your answer right there.
It's like with a spirit box.
I'm sure we'll get there.
We're working our way up there because I have questions about that. But let's see. Heather wants to know, what about shared experience?
Depends on the experience.
That's what I was about
I'm
to
not
say.
quite sure.
I would add to this because it definitely depends on the experience. And first we have to determine what type of experience, the origin, if any, of that experience. Because if it's something that happened, like if a book falls off a shelf and everybody saw it, well, yeah, it's a shared experience. But what caused that book to fall off? That's what we have to figure out. If it's something more involved, like hearing a ghostly voice or seeing an apparition or shadow, the best thing I can advise is to immediately separate those people, all the witnesses, separate them as soon as humanly possible, and then interview them separately. Don't cross-reference, don't let them talk, because once they start sharing information, the story blends.
Right.
And you have an issue, and there's your shared experience. I haven't come across any example where when we were able to separate the witnesses right after the event that the stories matched up. There's always inconsistency. It was only after.
Did Kenny get a little quieter?
He
That's
goes in
muffled.
and out. Yeah, it goes in and
Oh,
out.
okay.
Okay.
It's a little
Yeah, you
muffled.
suddenly dropped like a few
Okay.
enough to where it sounded like you were a little underwater there. So
Sorry, I know we do have a storm overhead, so it might be.
Okay.
gotcha.
Great. Is it headed our way? Because you're only in Buffalo, Kenny. You're not too far from me. Shit, more rain.
Kenny, do you have like a witness statement paper you use, or do you just tend to take notes when you interview them separately? I've heard of people using like a sheet of paper that has the same exact layout, and they just hand it to both of them, write it down.
I do
That
have a
kind of
form
situation.
that I use, and it's a standard form. It has standard questions on it, but it's loose because I don't know. They're standard questions like, what did you see? What did you hear? Can you describe what you saw? And then I go off script per se. Because I always record the interview, always record it because there's going to be questions and I'm not going to be able to write everything down. So I usually ask the follow-up questions. I also make sure not to, I think you mentioned it, lead the witness earlier. You don't want to do that. I don't offer my own descriptions to them. If they are struggling to describe something, I don't help them because you don't want to help them, because once you start helping them, now you're injecting your perception or your what's the word? I'm totally
Bias.
Well, your bias, but also your idea of what might have happened. And if it sounds close enough, they might latch onto that and use what you said, even though it might not mean the same thing.
Right.
You know, like when a common example is when someone says like something flew off the shelf. You know, flew, depending on inflection, and then exactly what does that mean? You know, flew, like I know it moved. I get
It means fall straight down.
Like, yeah, if it fell straight down or 2 feet or all the way across and hit the opposite wall.
Right.
You know, like what are we talking about here? So I don't offer any descriptions. I will let them do it. And if they struggle, okay, let's take a breather, think about it, and we'll come back to it in a couple seconds. You know, and I think that's the best way because I don't want to influence them.
Exactly. Cree wants to, or her question is, do you honestly think that science has enough in it right now to ever capture a paranormal event? I don't think, she goes, I don't, not yet, at least ever, if ever.
I haven't come across any kind of paranormal event.
Yeah, I always say your best bet would be have as many data loggers measuring the environment as humanly possible, and then pray to God that you are the luckiest person on earth to capture some kind of crazy, let's say, like we said, a book actually flew. And by flew, I mean went from a shelf 20 feet and hit the wall across, and 5 people saw it. And you had data loggers measuring temperature, humidity, wind conditions, the moon phases. You don't need a data logger for that, but you know, make sure you cover your bases. And then
Perfect scenario.
Right. Only then would we then hope that one of those environmental factors was in play, and maybe we could figure out, hey, this actually has something to do with the paranormal. But again, that has never happened, and there definitely aren't enough teams even employing such ideas that would be likely, even if it did exist.
Right. I think there's an assumption that this may be opposite of what a lot of people are thinking, but we don't even know that the paranormal exists. We don't know ghosts or spirits exist. So that's an assumption. When an event happens and it's concluded that the paranormal was to blame, that's an assumption because you actually don't know what caused it. It's assuming that it does. We can't rule out a hoax. Somebody staged it, made it so that it would happen or set it up. or micro vibrations, something like that.
Right.
There's so many other things to consider before ghost. And even that's not a proper conclusion. That's a guess.
Yeah, even in my own example, my first thought would be world's craziest air current of some kind. I've heard of, what is it, the wind vortex. Some there are very extreme examples where stuff can move quite far, and it has a completely scientific explanation. So even in that example, ghosts should not be the first conclusion. It would still be the last.
Right. We have a little, there's a little figure, and it looks like one of those, it's almost like the robe of death, but
Right.
no body, no skeleton, you know, one of those it's just a robe. And it sits on top of our Wi-Fi router. And every so often, every like day or so, it's turned around. And not because it's haunted or cursed or anything, but it is spooky. That would be cool. But it's because there's subtle vibrations in that router, and it doesn't sit flat on top of it. So it wiggles just enough with traffic outside that over the course of 24, 48 hours stuff, it works itself around.
Right.
And it's pretty cool. Like one of these days, I'm going to set up a camera so I can film the whole thing, because I think I just got to get like a time lapse, because I'm not going to film for 48 hours.
Right.
There was a story like that, almost exactly like that. It was a museum, and I'm going to be real vague because I can't remember the whole thing now. But there was a museum, and there was one Egyptian item in this set that would do exactly what you talked about, and it would face the other way, very like within a day or two, and they'd set it back, and it would do this time and time again, and people were sure it was cursed. And it came out, you know, finally somebody went in there and tested it and found that it was just micro vibrations that had slowly turned it. And it was the only item in there that had a base that wasn't perfectly flat, which made it much more likely to move, because the question people had was, well, nothing else moves, but that's not good enough. Like most of the time you have to get so deep into these experiments, and you have to cover every base, check every box.
In
Right.
an
And,
investigation,
Including what, you know, the item was made out of.
yes.
So you would want a contact microphone with a data logger so you can see all the frequencies of sounds in that area, and then a time-lapse camera.
That's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Absolutely.
that's true. There's so many factors you gotta go through. Ian has a question. Any thoughts on underlying geology, i.e., areas with quartz content in the bedrock have the potential to create light phenomenon? It could be interpreted as paranormal.
Well, quartz.
I've
will-
heard of it. I've never seen it. Never even seen any photos or videos of it either.
Right. Under pressure, quartz will. It's a piezoelectric effect, where it'll create light. But I have never seen anything like that, because it's usually, I mean, you gotta like hit it with a hammer
Yeah.
to make something happen like that. So, and I don't know if it would be large enough to see unless you're right up close to it, depending on what it is.
The only place I could think where you could see it would be like the Stanley Hotel, where it was built on, I believe no, I'm wrong even now, because that was limestone. It's built on a bunch of limestone, but they make similar comments about it potentially being paranormal because of that limestone bedrock it sits on. Or
Right. Cree says, how do you know paranormal didn't cause it? I've seen an angel fly about 3 feet off the fireplace mantle, and we are 3 people sitting and talking.
Like vertically or horizontally?
Fly. There's the one
Again,
of the words.
there's the word fly. Yeah.
Like, and we're only going, like, we can't give you an answer on this, because we can make assumptions and speculate, but you are giving us very little information. We weren't present for it. We're not there to be able to test the environment or look at the environment or observe. So I can't, this is one of those questions, and I'm not being mean, Cree, but this is one of the questions that are really difficult to deal with because they're asked as like oh, well, here you go, Mr. Skeptic, answer this. And it's an impossible question because we don't have all the information or anywhere near the information we need in order to answer it.
I was just thinking about this exact thing when I was watching the Uncanny YouTube episode. They just released a couple about 30 East Drive. But what I find interesting about Uncanny is that a lot of the times they transfer the burden of proof onto Kieran O'Keefe, who's the in-house skeptic, I've noticed. And so they're like, okay, Mr. Skeptic, explain this. And a lot of times he has to give such illogical answers because instead of the other side of the coin, the believers providing proof, that burden of proof that should be on them, it's transferred to Kieran. And because Kieran wasn't there, he doesn't have any of the information. Right. The best he can do is give an off-the-wall, off-the-cuff answer that a lot of times like sounds unbelievable to people, but is still more believable than the alternative. So I give him credit where it's due. Kieran has to put up with a lot as far as the burden of proof goes. But yeah.
Right.
That's a difficult thing, like, because you're right. There's a reversal of it. The burden of proof is on the one making the claim. And that's why we go into such broad and detailed explanations when we do offer an explanation for something, because we have the burden of proof, because we're saying, hey, it might be this. This is why. And we give all this information. On the other side, it's, hey, we saw this shadow and the place is known to be haunted. So how do you explain that? And that's simply just not how it works. And I think people need to understand that and start taking responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very good. Very good. All right, here we go. Big Stu's got a question. He says, isn't that the foundation of debunking, making assumptions when you can't prove otherwise?
No, not at all.
No,
Debunking is defined as taking the falseness out of a claim. That's what it's defined as. So you look at a claim and you're trying to figure it out. You're asking questions, you're collecting data, you are trying to figure out exactly what happened, not making assumptions. I mean, you can create a hypothesis and say, based on what we know and the information we have, it might be this. But then you immediately go into testing phase, because now we're going to put that hypothesis into practice and try to figure out what it is. It doesn't mean that we make assumptions because we can't prove it otherwise. If we can't prove it or show it's caused by something else, then most of the time we leave it as, I don't know. And that's something that we all have to understand. If we don't know, you say it.
Right.
Until we get new information, because that's usually why we don't know, is because there's some kind of lack of information. And it's logic. Logic. It's the location is gone, because the story happened 20 years ago and now the building's gone and, the witnesses aren't available, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's not, and one more thing before I shut up, because I know I talk a lot.
That's all right. It's what it's about.
That's why you're here.
If you're at a location and something happens and you investigate it, you figure out the cause, like maybe it's lights from a car that was outside or something like that. You just explained it. You didn't debunk it. You can't debunk something if there's not a previous claim, because you have to have a claim prior to you being there in order to reinvestigate and take the falseness out of that previous claim. So just to get that right, like if you explain it right away, you've explained it. Good job.
Right.
That's what we're all trying to do.
That's what we're all trying to do.
I think also that if you think about that on the flip side as well, I think that the paranormal investigators make more assumptions than some of the debunkers as well, because occasionally we do have to, like you said, we don't have all the information and we do the best that we can. But on the flip side of that, paranormal investigators make all sorts of assumptions. and lean towards a paranormal conclusion without the necessary evidence as well. I would say more often, and at least when it comes to debunking, usually there's underlying facts and logic to back up our assumptions when we have to make them. While on the other side, the same can't really be said. So
You're right. And we also declare it. Like, usually I make it a practice that if I'm going to speculate, I tell you, like up front, I'm going to speculate here. I don't know. I'm going to speculate. And then I give you what I think might have happened, but I don't really know. But the opposite that I usually experience when I deal with or engage with other groups and teams is that the assumption becomes the conclusion. Like, I don't know what else it could be. Therefore, it's probably a ghost because the place is haunted, or, you know, my REM pod went off, or this and that. So it's probably a ghost. And then here comes the shift in the burden of proof. What else could it be? And then that morphs later on onto like social media or lectures or conferences where they're like, yeah, we went to this place, saw a shadow figure, definitely haunted, you know. And then, you know, then it spins around like if I show up at a place and say, nope, we explain that, we debunk that, definitely not haunted, I get death threats.
Right. I always leave it as just, I don't know what it is. It's unknown. You know, I never, because I don't have definite proof. Even like, well, here's a scenario I'm going to throw at you, and I want your opinion. When we moved into this house and all things was all settled in, everybody was at work. I'm the only one home. I'm walking through my back hallway, and I hear someone say my name in my ear, like they were standing right next to me. And I turn around, I'm looking, there's nobody around. The window in the hall was not open. And like I said, I was the only one home. Now, my hallway is about 25 feet long, about, I would say 12 to 15 feet wide, painted walls. You know, you got the laminated floor. You got a door that goes to the attic, a door goes to the kitchen, and then the stairs that go down to the downstairs first floor. So that's the hallway. I have no clue why I heard my name. It's happened a couple of times in the hallway, and I just put it as unknown and just go from there. So what are your opinions? And it's clear. It's a clear male voice saying my name.
If they can say that much, they need to carry on a conversation and explain why they're bothering you.
I don't know if it's just to get my attention. I don't know, but
I had something similar happen actually yesterday. Because now that I think about this stuff all the time, I catch events like this somewhat regularly. Now I have tinnitus, pretty bad. I don't know why. I have a very hard time hearing. It's also why on live streams it sounds like I'm yelling, because I am yelling because I can't hear. And yesterday, I have a apartment. It was a room, probably 20 foot by 20 foot room, but it has an echo. And when I opened the door to the fridge, somehow the echo was loud enough and it sounded a little bit like a voice. But when it reached my ear, I swore it was a man's voice right behind me. And which is really weird because I'm facing the fridge, right? But I hear it from behind me, and I was able to figure out most likely it was a combination of my tinnitus and the fact that my echoey room just so happened when that fridge door opened to create something that sounded vocally like a human being. Right. And then my brain is looking for patterns to fill in the blanks and creating what sounds like words. But in reality, it's just my crappy fridge.
Yeah, a cocktail ghost, which is a result, basically, of pareidolia.
Mm-hmm. There was I was at a place. What was it? Monroe House, I think. I was at with Joe Vitale. You guys know him, and Jeff from Boo Productions.
Right.
We were there together, and at one point, three of us were in a room, Joe was standing in the doorway, so the only doorway into the room, standing in that archway. Jeff was on one corner, I was on the opposite corner, and Jeff moved his tripod that was in front of him, just tapped it, and the rubber stopper at the bottom kind of stuttered on the floor, and Joe heard it behind him out in the hallway, but he was staring at it, so he knew where it came from, but it went past him out into the hallway before he heard it. Well, I don't. I mean, that's where he heard the bounce back.
I got a question about that. I've thought about that before because Jeff told me about it before. Was there anything behind him that was in any way parabolic?
So the only thing I can think of is because the way he was standing, it's kind of hard to. So if I'm Jeff, Joe was over here in the doorway, but on this side, this entire wall was shelving built into the wall.
Okay.
So I thought about that too. Like, did the sound hit that and bounce off and just go behind him? But it would have hit that, come back across the room and out into the hallway. I don't know.
Yeah, because that kind of stuff is what keeps me awake at night. If there was anything at all that could concentrate the sound, and if the room that they were in had a bunch of cloth or something like that, nothing to dampen the sound, nothing to absorb it.
No, there was
well as the imperfection of the brain itself. I mean, it could just be up on the individual, and this was just one of those cases where your brain gets it wrong.
There was just no. There was no. I mean, there was the only furniture in the room was a table. There was one table, like a coffee table.
Yeah.
And that was it. No carpeting, no curtains on the windows, and then there was no carpeting in the hallway, there was no decor at all. It was bare bones.
Right.
So fascinating. I mean, it was really cool. I mean, sound is a fascinating thing.
Yeah.
There's a place in Gettysburg. It's a huge cement arc. It's a half moon. Huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably about 25 feet diameter. And you can stand on one side, somebody on the other side, and they can whisper. And you hear it on the other side, just like they're right at your ear.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So I don't have an answer for you, Laura.
Right.
I was just curious.
Yeah. I mean, you said there's doors, there's an open stairway that goes downstairs.
Right.
I don't know if sound bounced off the hall or things, or maybe could be hallucination. I'm speculating here.
No, I get it, because I'm like saying, it happened a couple
Right.
of times, and it was a clear male voice, and it was like he was standing next to me in my ear saying my name. So, we have a lot of other things that happen around here as well, but I haven't investigated in my own house, because if there is something here, I don't want to stir up trouble. So I just leave it alone.
Don't shit where you eat rule.
Yeah, exactly. Because I hear it all the time when I have company come stay, and if they stay in our front room and sleep on the couch, it happens every night at 3:00 in the morning. You hear somebody walking around in my attic, and they'll ask me the next day, "Who the hell's in the?" Who's in the attic? And I just laugh. Oh, don't worry about it. It's nothing.
All right, we're all meeting at Laura's house for a weekend. We're gonna stay. We're gonna figure this out.
Well, the biggest
I'm
thing, because I've been up there and looked, there's nothing in the attic because I've checked. But the biggest thing that really I found very interesting is that we were sitting in the living room and we hear something heavy roll the whole length of our attic. And I'm thinking, what the hell is that? So I'm thinking, what the hell would be up there? We don't have nothing up there that would do that. Well, I forgot that we had a bowling ball up there. And it was up by the workbench, which is up towards where the stairs are. So you come up the stairs. At the top of the stairs is a workbench. My husband's got a couple of them there. The bowling ball was right there at the edge. And that's where it was in the beginning, where we put it. When I went up to check, it was gone the whole length, all the way down towards the front where the windows are. So I've checked, okay, well, we got a squirrel, we got, something going on, a bird, nothing in the attic, but the ball had moved. So maybe vibrations and uneven floors. It could be a factor, but it was just, and it was the only time it happened.
Yep,
That's right.
That's
the
what I was
level.
about to do. That's what I was about to go grab.
I've had some really weird things happen that I have yet to explain, and I really haven't given up on it. But things that happened 20, 30 years ago, can't really recreate all those. So I'm just
Right.
going to have the question. But I've heard the voices, I've heard the weird things. Even with recordings, I've picked up things that I can't explain away, but I don't say, hey, this is a ghost.
Right.
Right. Also, I do have a recording from the attic from when we first moved in. I used a cassette recorder, and I
Ooh.
went up there, and you could hear my husband and my son in the kitchen talking because I left the door open. And then I would just played it, let it run in the attic. And then when I played it back, there's a third male voice telling me to get out. And it was very sharp, get out. And I was like, oh shit. And I know I've got the damn tape here because I saved it. Because it was actually the only thing that I ever saved way back in the day. It's like 20, 30 years ago. So
Yeah.
what it is, I don't know. I mean, it could have been, who knows? But I thought it was kind of strange that I was up there at that time recording it, and then the voice told me to get out of my own attic. So
The
yeah,
problem-
definitely some weird things go on here. Actually, the other night, 3:00 in the morning, I get up to go to the bathroom, and I caught a dark shadow go past the kitchen window. And the mood I was in, I was, oh shit, it's just too early for that stuff. And I just went into the bathroom and ignored it. I said, no, it's too early for that. What it was, who the hell knows? It could have been a pigeon on the roof next door. I don't know. But you see a black shadow go across one of the windows that was leading towards the kitchen door. So it's who the hell knows what it was. So I always look at it that way because I can't prove anything. So it's just something else that I document as far as this house goes. I mean, our house is over 100 years old, and who knows the history that's behind the house. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sage, you're the bomb. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So now my next question is, I wanted to do a testing as far as white noise goes. And I'm not going to be using a spirit box. I got a
Good start.
right. Yeah. Cause I don't go for any of that crap, but my father had an old handheld transistor radio from Radio Shack that is powered by a 9-volt battery. The antenna is pretty much crap on it. The only thing that comes through is channels on the FM stations. Everything on the AM is total white sound. Nothing comes through. And the range of it is it's a 530 to 1710 kilohertz is the ranges on the unit. What do you think my odds are conducting a test, or what kind of testing should I do to see if anything comes through on the AM stations?
First off, whenever you're using a radio, you have the potential of picking up a radio signal.
Right.
So if you get any noise or voice or something on it, it shouldn't be surprising. And at those low frequencies, they can actually bounce around the planet. They say there's only a short window, or short waves is what they call them. But I've personally heard radio transmissions way below that and way above it.
Right.
So you have the potential of always picking up a radio transmission somewhere if you're using a radio. So with that alone makes it unreliable as just a white noise source if you're doing some kind of EVP.
Right.
And when it comes to and this is maybe a little bit more relevant with a typical spirit box, but something I was thinking about today. When I think people imagine, let's say that there is a spirit standing next to your spirit box while you're having this session. And we know the spirit box is picking up radio station broadcasts, and it is spitting out little snippets of that broadcast. Well, even if the spirit was standing right next to you and it screams, "I'm right here," and it's able to manipulate that radio signal to add that in and change the signal. It would never come out as a voice. Never come out as a voice, because it wouldn't be decoded as a voice. It would come through as interference. It would manipulate the wave itself. And without some kind of Rick and Morty levels of genius scientific ability on the part of this spirit, you would never be able to do this. And it would never have a voice coming through anything but the radio broadcaster.
They would have to scream at the frequency you're tuned to receive, and either vary it by frequency if you're on FM, or by the amplitude if you're on AM. And that's what AM and FM is: frequency modulation or amplitude modulation. So yeah, the
and they would have to know how to do it to form words as well, not just manipulate.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of what ifs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question is, what about using an old black and white television with no antenna?
Same thing. It's a radio receiver.
It would still pick up. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, remember back when? Well, I know back when I was young, even the TVs that didn't have an antenna on it, you could get signals. But even with an antenna or without, you walk by it, and like I know my father did this. Go over there and move the antenna. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, stay right there. Don't move. And I'd have
Wrap
to
it in
stay
foil.
there
Yep.
for the rest of the Western movie that I was watching. Like holding the antenna. But you can act like an antenna. So yeah, it's unreliable. It is very unreliable. And my first question would always be like, don't take this the wrong way. What's the point? Like, what is your end game for doing that? Is it a game of lawn darts where you're just like, let's see what happens? Or because if you're going to run an experiment, there really should be a hypothesis to go along with that. Like, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to be the result?
Right. Well, you hear the theory is that, long ago that spirit sound or voice or EVP would come through white noise. So I wanted to test the theory. Is it possible for that to happen using older equipment? Because it doesn't have all of the modern updates as, like with the stuff that they use today. So basically that's what it would be, just to see what would happen if it was possible.
I'm gonna nitpick.
Go ahead.
Don't get mad.
I don't get mad.
It's not a theory. It is not a theory at all. It is a hypothesis.
Yeah.
At best, and it's a very loose.
And,
and that's not from you. That development was a very loose and amateur hypothesis that was developed, which was boosted by the movie White Noise. But when you look at today's ghost hunters and what they're using the same method, different equipment.
right.
From reel to reel to they even used vinyl. Even Edison had, he had his drums, but you had vinyl, you had cassette, you had micro cassette, you had firmware versions, you had software versions, digital, all these, but we're expected to say, yeah, you're getting the same results, even though it's completely different machinery the whole way through, same exact results. And there's something wrong there. That's telling me that it's based on belief rather than any kind of science or methodology. And I would not perform an experiment like that or even attempt it without an actual, like, what's my end game? What am I striving to? What's the point that I'm going to try to make by doing this? Because I can't call you James. That's so weird. Get that fucking name off of it.
Like Friday said.
It's weird. I can call him Mason, but I can't call him. But like both of them said, like, you still get signals through. So we know that this is a very flawed method.
Yes.
But people are still using it and hoping to get legitimate results. And without any kind of controls and knowing that is a flawed method, there is no point to using this.
Yeah. I've been harping in my lives a lot recently about the ideas of just like setting time limits for these gadgets, because the problem is that ghost hunters take the same devices and do the exact same thing over and over again with no clear like success. Like you have to say, this is how we measure success, but nobody does, and they just use these devices indefinitely. I think you have to have a clear measure of what would be deemed successful, and again, that's still up to the, the scrutiny of your peers. But you need to have what measures success, and then you have to have a specific amount of time. And then at the end of that, if it doesn't succeed, you need to throw it out. And even if it does, then you need to retest and you need to create new measurements again. And it's something that no one does. And it should be absolute necessity for every team.
The biggest part, it really kind of goes with everything, is control. And if you're trying to do an experiment, and it's okay to do the experiment that you're wanting to do, that's fine. I mean, you may find something that nobody else did. That's happens, all throughout history. But you have to be able to control it. And if you're using a radio device to create the sound that you need, there's no control there, because they're deliberately designed to bring in signals.
Okay.
So if you're wanting to produce white noise, you could use any kind of digital audio workstation, Reaper, Audacity, whatever, and produce a different white noise every time you do your experiment. That way you're not using the same thing over and over. Or you could save them, and however you want to do with that. Last time I tried to create white noise, I used a reverse bias transistor circuit, which not everybody's going to go do that, but it's an actual circuit, not a radio, that just produces white noise on its own. But I would stay completely away from the radio idea, just because it's designed
flawed.
to, it's designed to bring stuff in, and you run the risk of doing that every time.
Would having a well-built Faraday box potentially block out the AM radio signals coming to the radio?
Yeah,
if you wanted to test a slightly different theory, and again, I have to really emphasize well-built, but I think you could put you say it was you were going to use a radio, just a radio with a 9-volt battery into a Faraday box. And then you could just kind of see what happens, because what should happen is absolutely nothing.
Right.
You should not receive any radio signals. And if you did, then it would be weird. And paranormal,
unplug your microwave.
But weird.
Unplug the microwave.
Unplug the microwave, put the stuff in there, because that is a great Faraday cage.
Hey, I never even thought about that. Yeah.
And there's your experiment right there. I mean, they just spelled out your experiment. Your hypothesis is, if I put this specific radio in a Faraday cage, a good one that will block out AM and FM, I expect to hear nothing. And that's your expectation. That's your expectation for your hypothesis is, I expect to hear nothing.
Right.
And now if you do it and then you do get something, well, now there's something to look at. Like now we have to look at the microwave or the Faraday cage and see what we have to test that and make sure it's good. We have to see the frequencies that the radio picks up. There's a lot to go on with that. That's like a whole year's worth of research right there.
Right.
On that.
I can see it all now. My husband opens the microwave and wonder what the hell's going on. Nothing. Get out of here.
I'll pick you up a microwave at the flea market.
At the flea market.
There you go.
Believe me, I know there's a couple of spare ones around here.
I actually have a big one that goes like above a stove. I got a big one. Got flooded. Doesn't work. I'm about to convert it to a Faraday cage.
There you go. Well, see, the beauty of it is my father has degrees in electronics. So if you need something, he's got it. So if I could just come up with something that we could put together, I guarantee you, if I gave him the specs, he could build it. But then I really just don't know what to tell him as far as that goes.
Right.
I mean, and it's no joke.
That's-
If you guys ever seen our basement, oh God. Is
You
it like
know,
Friday House? You'd have a ball in there.
Kenny, is that what's in the box you sent me? Is it a microwave? You got me a microwave, didn't you?
No. Ignore
Go
the
ahead,
drawer.
open it up.
Yeah, I gotta open up.
Oh,
Wait,
See what's in the goodie
Yeah,
I have
box.
to make sure there's no address on it real fast.
I think it's safe.
Put it this way, Friday, when my father passes away, I'll just have to send you. Oh God, it'll cost me a
Actually,
fortune.
buy me 2 minutes because I need scissors. There's
Okay.
Oh my God. You're
There's a lot
Texan.
of-
Why don't you have a
did
knife?
really well.
I know, really. He
I
should
don't know
be
where my
carrying a
scissors
knife.
are at.
Everybody's got a knife in their pocket.
Christ's sakes, I got one right here.
And I think my address on that box is for work. So it's, yeah, I
Yeah, see?
all the time.
Yeah. Slacker. Mason's a slacker.
Doesn't have a knife. Mason, you're from Texas. What's wrong with you? You got to have a knife.
I got scissors. I got
Okay.
scissors.
Amateur.
I know. Amateur hour.
I forget what else I put in there.
Okay, Leanne is saying that microwaves don't work as Faraday cages.
If they didn't, that would be really bad if you turned one on to cook your food because they have a lot of wattage at a very high frequency. And if they weren't containing it, you'd have a very bad day.
We would be pretty much radiated, yeah.
But
I'm
it's
starting to
it's
think
not
Kenny didn't want me to get in this
Yeah.
box.
it's not a radiating radiation, but it can give you a heck of a burn. It can give you a headache. It can mess with your eyes. Yeah, you definitely.
I know I was screaming at a video today. I watching these guys do welding and they weren't wearing any welding mask. They were just looking at it and I'm thinking, what the? I'm screaming at them. Idiots.
In our next video, we get a new set of eyes.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Here
It
we go.
says,
Drum roll.
Mason, see if this gets pushed by the ghosties. Kenny, I've got my own stair brick, personally made by Kenny. Kenny, I cannot tell you how excited I am to use this. I will book a place for the sole purpose of using this with some really fancy stairs. That's going to be what I'm looking for.
There you go.
Really, really big claims on the stairs and really nice looking stairs because I've been waiting to do that.
That's
Oh, this is
funny.
awesome.
Nice.
I wrote all over it.
The Biddle brick, 2 of 2. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm
Kenny,
so
this is
tired
so
of
great.
people
Thank you
putting
so much.
balls and round objects that are meant to roll on stairs or shelves or other things. So I have one, and I found that. So I got that for you, so you can put it on the stairs and say, "Go ahead, push this shit off."
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I will. It's going
Nice.
in every investigation. It's going to get put on the stairs. I mean,
Awesome.
I was thinking about doing it on my last one, but then I thought, what if it goes for any like? What if I kicked it as I'm walking up and down the stairs, and I was like, I'm going to have a very upset owner
Yeah,
when
That's
I
why-
when I kick a brick down the stairs.
it's a yoga brick. It's a yoga block.
Yeah, I was going to
Yes,
ask you. Is that
it's
what it was?
very light.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Very light. It's the hard foam. Because that's actually my wife's idea. Because I was thinking like, I was going to make a box, cardboard box, or actually bring a brick, but I didn't really feel like carrying a brick everywhere in my backpack.
Right.
So my wife actually is like, just get a yoga block. And
All right,
What the hell
Donna.
is
That's
that?
an awesome idea.
do I look
Genius
like I
idea.
do yoga?
I can't ignore the irony that he's a mason, but now he's a brick mason.
Brick mason.
Mm.
I'll see myself out.
You're here all week. Yeah.
Awesome, Kenny. I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
Seriously,
buddy.
it's awesome.
That's great. Oh, here we go. Man versus Ghost. Just like Zach Bagans, how to get a brick to fly through the air. He knows.
yeah.
Make it lighter than this. That's the solution.
Well, at least if you get hit with that, it won't hurt as bad.
Right.
How many times
think I was
Craig got
watching-
hit with a brick? Oh my god.
A Goldfield Hotel employee actually came out recently and said that was completely staged. I think I saw it in Seg's video. Don't quote me 100%, but I'm pretty sure it was at least mentioned in Seg's video that the whole thing was a setup. So
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
No.
so unfortunate because I actually, when that documentary came out, I loved it. So unfortunate. But Ghost Adventures is what fooled me, and when I finally came to my senses after watching, it was either Seg or Beardo gets scared and getting pissed off at what he had to say, because I was like, who are you to question Zach Bagans? I went back and I started watching Ghost Adventures, and I couldn't, because I kept hearing, the voice in my head that was like, they're right. They're completely right. And,
Oh my god.
that was what started it all, was that documentary. Man.
Oh yeah, it's kind of bad news. Like I have relatives who do a paranormal group in Arizona, and when Ghost Adventures went there to film, they had the wonderful pleasure of doing an investigation with them. And my cousin was heartbroken because the trucks all showed up and they set up the whole stage for the program. They blacked out the windows to make it look like it was nighttime, and the whole nine. And he was like, really? He was crushed.
Yeah, that sucks. That I'd love to be on set for one of his shows, just incognito. I would
Fly
love
on the wall.
They were just standing there like, what the hell is this? And I go, it's Hollywood is what it is.
I'd make it 5 minutes. What the hell is wrong with you?
I know, he didn't dare say a word. He was just in shock.
Yeah, Kenny, that might be your hell. Staying silent during a Zach Bagans ghost hunt.
Well, I had this the second time I went to his museum, after, of course, being banned the first time. I still got in, and I had to be quiet because when we were in line right outside the door, he came out, and I had to be quiet and hide because I was like, oh shit. And then through the tour, at one point we're going upstairs and he jumped out in front of us, and I was the first person. So he jumped out in front of me wearing some kind of clown mask, and he was like, "Rah!" And I was like,
Yeah,
I
Lord.
laughed.
Really?
And I think it pissed him off, because then he stormed off. But I was worried. I was like, he's going to find out that I'm here. But I mean, he doesn't know now, but it'll be okay.
Yeah. How tempting was it for you just to go right at him and say something?
I so wanted to. I mean, I was hoping he would come out at the end and just like try to say something, or because when he came out in the beginning, he did. It was hysterical. He came out of the front doors, walked up to the crowd that was waiting in line, and he actually stopped, took off the hat that he was wearing. One of his lackeys gave him his black hat from the show.
Oh yeah.
He did that, waiting, but he had no idea.
He loves the crowd.
The whole group that I
yeah.
was with, we were all skeptics. Nobody recognized him but me. So nobody gave a shit. And then he threw a fit. He actually had a temper tantrum because nobody recognized him.
Wow.
And I mean, I thought it was funny. I really wanted to get my phone out and see if I get a selfie with him, because I think that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, that would have. Oh my god.
Oh, well.
Leanne said microwaves are made to contain a specific range of wavelength. It's a huge topic of discussion in the right, if I can say it, community, as whether microwaves block EMF or other wavelengths.
The inside of the cavity is tuned so that the waves bounce around, but you're going to have hot spots and cold spots, as they call it. You're going to have more concentration of electromagnetic energy in one spot, but that's why you have the turntable in there. So it turns the food so that it tries to get even, but hot pockets disprove that completely.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, it does.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to start on that shit. I understand where Leanne is coming from, though, because it is designed for specific frequencies.
Yeah.
And it's not a perfect cage. It's probably not good for everything that we would be using it for. but it's good in like an emergency. You would test it. I think you should test it because again, you're still closing the door, and most of them have rubber seals on the doors, so that's going to let leakage through. The Faraday cage that I built, I had to go back over and over again and test it because when you're talking about like AM signals, like even an open hole like that big was enough to let the signal through. So I had to make sure everything was patched, everything was overlapped when I had the lid down, that everything overlapped several inches so
Right.
that it would block everything.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying there. You want to the seal on the door. You want to make sure it's that wire mesh and not a rubber seal, because some of them actually have a wire mesh to do the seal. But one good way to test that would actually be put the antenna of a SDR inside of there and do a sweep and just see if you set your antenna outside, get your baseline, see where your decibels are, and then put the antenna inside and see if it drops. And then that way that'll tell you kinda maybe. Probably wouldn't hurt to have like a network analyzer or a frequency generator beside there to go along. That way you can kind of see, and you don't have to hit every single frequency. I mean, you can hit, certain waves.
I would recommend either going online and looking at Faraday bags, and looking at the quality, looking at the reviews, because I've bought some that were shit, and I've also bought the set that I just got are wonderful. Like everything that I put in them completely blocks AM, FM, and the cell phone. So really good quality, high quality ones. You're going to pay for it, but it's definitely worth it if you're doing these experiments. The one that I built, again, layers and layers of aluminum foil and steel netting, steel mesh around it. I think there's like 8 layers of each around it, and that's for bigger things because it's a huge. I mean, I had extra 2x4s laying around, so naturally I just was like, oh, I'll build a Faraday box.
Yeah.
And that's what I bring that with me to events sometimes.
Copper clad would be great.
Yeah, you just got to test it. You got to make sure that it actually blocks the signals that you're looking to test. So, and it's easy to test it. I mean, just put your device inside with the display facing out, and then look through the door going like this so you can actually see what it's doing.
Right.
Don't turn it on. Don't turn the microwave on.
Unplug it.
All right. I know I have a question for it. Like I told you, like my father has like a full electronics supply store in our basement. Do you think that it would affect me doing any kind of investigations in my home because of what he has in the basement?
Don't know what he's got.
Oh, you name it, he's got it down there. I mean, it's like I said, it's an electronics nerd's dream house, but all kinds of transistors, tubes, batteries, wire. No matter what it is, he's got it down there. Would that affect me doing any kind of an investigation in the home?
It's just objects.
All right, nothing. So that's nothing's live or well, no, some of the stuff is active, so it's.
I would check and make sure nothing's on live.
Right.
It's transmitting. And that's about it. I mean, as long as everything's off, unplugged, maybe cycle through, make sure there's no stored power in the capacitor.
Right.
Like other than that, it shouldn't make any difference.
Okay, yeah. It's like radio equipment, television
Depending
equipment.
on what you're doing. I mean, like
You're looking for old tubes for old TVs and radios. We've got them. They're on sale, guys.
I want to come to your basement.
Yeah. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this stuff. My father used to work for a company called Univac back in the day, and they used to build motherboards, computer boards, and stuff like that. And so he has all of these little transistors and all of the drawers of this stuff. And I always said to my husband, what are we going to do with this after he's gone? Because I don't know anybody that does any of that stuff. And there's piles of it. So Like I said,
Probably got those
I'll have
old
to ship
metal
it to you
can.
guys.
Right? Probably got those old metal can transistors.
Yeah, yes, everything. Yes. And I'm not
Nice.
kidding. You know how you get the plastic containers? They have all the little drawers.
Oh yeah.
He's got a ton of them down there and they're full.
Oh,
And like I said, he's got tubes that are brand new in boxes.
oh, yeah. I got tons of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was asking on that one show, Kenny. Is I seen the container because I've got the same exact things sitting up here, the yellow ones.
Yes.
So I was like, "What do you got in yours?"
Right. I have a bunch of those. I have some of those. Right on the other side of this wall here, I have a workshop here in the basement. But then I have the garage with all of those too. So I keep everything. I keep all the
Nice.
little things because I also do a lot of the crafting, and I used to do cosplay a lot. So the little greebles that I want to keep and make sure that I have parts that I can turn into like spaceships and shit like that. So I keep everything.
Nice.
So yeah, Kenny would definitely want to come here shopping. So we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, it's because otherwise, I'd just bag it up and throw it away because I don't know what I'm going to do with any of it.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'll contact you guys first before anything
right.
happens.
Yeah, give us a call.
Because it is. I know that, like I said, there's a lot of people online that are looking for like specific the glass tubes for old radio. He has this stuff, and I'm thinking, well, what the hell am I going to do with this? And
I'm constantly at flea markets. I'm constantly going through bins and storage units and containers like that, just looking, seeing what do you got. What can I use?
So, because I don't know anything to do with. I don't know what to do with any of this stuff. You guys do. This is what you guys do. So.
I built shit.
Spools and spools of wire, and it's just, oh my god, it's just amazing. So you guys would have a ball down there. So
cool.
Like
where'd you go, Friday?
Yeah, I know.
Lost connection.
Fading out.
Like
totally. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Let's see, Stu.
Yeah, we can hear you. You just completely disappeared for about 2 seconds.
Yeah, my whole screen just disappeared and then came back.
It's the spirits are speaking to you.
Obviously, it's a demon.
Yeah, Friday the apparition.
Yeah, it's gonna be this. This is haunted.
Yep, it's clearly
Haunted.
the
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
And my
It's got
logic
spirit in
is
the name.
Exactly. That's my logic. That's why it's haunted.
It's a spirit level in the Friday haunted house.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There
The
you
movie
go.
is writing itself.
Leanne says, "No way, Laura. That stuff's worth a mint." I'm sure it is. It's just that,
To the right person.
Right? Exactly. It's worthless to people that don't know what to do with it, and
Right.
you guys know what to do with it. I don't know what to. I don't build that stuff. I mean, and he went on from doing that to building parts for airplanes, and that's what he retired from. So it's
Yeah, there's people that use those old things and they actually make art and jewelry out of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just drawers and drawers and drawers of it. So it's he's even got stuff that has I don't even know what the hell they are, but they're little things that has gold in them.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can melt down the circuit boards and collect the gold.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
parts that went into the circuit boards. I have no idea.
Have you ever seen those people filter out the gold from like the Gold's Lager?
Oh God.
Oh, I've seen some videos on that, and it's so good. And they try to act like they're profiting off of it. Oh, it's awesome. They're like, no, it's nothing but profit. Buy 100, buy 100 cases.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, if the gold in there was worth that much, how much did you pay for that bottle?
Yeah,
They're just gonna
exactly.
give you all this?
Mm.
No, you're gonna. Yeah. No. House always wins, not mine.
Oh, yeah.
People do wear this crap. I don't know. All right, guys. Do you have any more questions for these gentlemen before we let them free? Yeah. So it's bottom line is, as far as capturing EVPs, what do you think is the best route for people to take when you're trying to capture sound?
Man.
Don't muddy up your audio.
The problem with sound is it's so easily contaminated. I've been thinking about this more and more. EVPs might be the hardest thing to prove of any common any common evidence we see today for paranormal investigators who claim, that it's potentially paranormal. Audio is the hardest because there is always more contamination. If you rule out one form of contamination, there's 20 others. It's like the Hydra of paranormal investigations.
Nice.
I know.
Yeah.
That was on the spot.
Nice
Thank you.
analogy.
Because-
Like that.
I think it's why I'm so
Yeah.
obsessed with it because it would just it's just
And because you already have that, don't add to it. Don't muddy it up with white noise or a spirit box or anything like that playing in the background. Don't add to it, because it's kind of like if you have a crime photo and it's pristine and you say, okay, I'm going to do an experiment and see if I can make this better by pouring coffee on it. Okay, that's what adding white noise does to these EVPs or your recording and whatnot. You're adding more noise to it. So whenever you try to go through with your filtering software, whatever software you're using, and I don't care if it's Adobe, I don't care if it's Reaper, I don't care what you're using, the algorithm is not perfect, and you will get noises coming out of it that will sound like speech.
right.
So don't add it to it in the first place. Just keep it as quiet and as controlled as you possibly can.
I like how you used the crime scene photo as an analogy, because
Yeah.
when you take crime scene photos, there's procedures to go by. You need at least 9 photos for like every situation, every place or location or object that you're going to film. But you also need to document any manipulation. Like, you're not supposed to manipulate them at all.
Right.
But if you do, if it's necessary, every step. So if you use any kind of filter, you need to know exactly what filter, what intensity, everything has to be documented, because there has to be a chain of custody all the way through, from the moment that photo was taken all the way through where it's presented as evidence in court. Because otherwise it's dismissed. It's not relevant, because if you missed a step or you can't account for what happened, it's not evidence.
Right.
So it won't be used. So in this case, like, too many people will enhance
Yes.
Yeah.
the audio, but they don't know what they did. They just put a bunch of filters on it and then slid the scales back and forth until it
Yep.
sounds good to them, which is just, one, it's poor methodology. 2, you have no idea what you did, so I don't know what you did,
Right.
and you're using personal preference in order to get what you think it already says, or what you believe it already says, or what you want it to say. So that's why I, like, with audio samples or photos or videos, I always insist on the original file, the unedited file. If you send me anything else, I'm going to tell you I need the unedited one. And if you don't want to send me that, then I can't help you, because
Right.
I'm not going to deal with that. So good point there, Friday.
Yeah, that's
Another
usually what
thing
I
to
do
think
when I'm
of-
asking for assistance. I send out the raw file to somebody so that they can check it out. Because of course I hate editing anyway. But you're right. It changes it if you do any kind of filtering. So that's what I usually do. I've sent, like, raw stuff to Friday and a few other people for them to check out. And just to see, because to think, see if they think what I'm hearing is what I'm hearing. And I just, that's the best way to go. Multiple ears are better than just, a pair. Let's see. Stu
Yeah.
says, overall, do you feel that every paranormal experience can be explained with enough time and the right equipment?
I will add to that and say, if you add a third element, all the information, all the relevant information. If you had all 3, then yes. And understand also that an explanation doesn't mean debunking it. Because what if one day it is a ghost and we explain it, because we have all the information, we have enough time, and we have the right equipment, and we determine, yes, this is the spirit of a living person, a once living person, then it is explained. It's not debunked or anything like that. So it's a good question. It is a good question. But yeah, you have to have the information. And for me, I think that's like the biggest issue, the lack of information.
Right.
Good question.
So yeah, I agree. It's and it's have you ever actually come upon something that you've experienced and you don't have an explanation for it?
Plenty of times. Yeah. I probably say I don't know just as much as I say I do.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have all the information on something, I can't help you. You know, I really can't help you. I can speculate. I can maybe offer some ideas, but I can't solve the mystery for you. So until you give me all that information.
Yeah,
It even
Mark,
happens
I'm
in our
gonna
own
have to.
investigations.
Yeah, I was just saying, Mark, I'm going to have to look into that and see what the idea behind that is. Because if it's any kind of frequencies above white noise, it's probably going to be out of our range of hearing. Because white noise is every noise.
It's every frequency, isn't it? All at once.
Yeah, that's what white. Yeah, pink noise is the higher frequencies. Brown noise is the lower. Green is actually in the middle. Yeah, if it's white noise, that's all of the frequencies.
All together, right?
Yeah.
So
I've had some unexplained experiences in my own investigations, but the reason that I leave them unexplained is because I do not have enough equipment to get the right information, like Kenny's saying. Like, for instance, at the Sally house, I captured a recording that sounds like a little girl screaming, and on first glance, it is very creepy. But because I was taking notes and I wrote stuff down, I remembered that next door, the door was open to that house and there was a van parked out front. And when I started thinking about it, when we got back and I played the recording, I went outside, that door was still open and I could hear what sounded like some kind of sawing and hammering. And so my speculation here is that the sound I heard was some kind of electric saw, and that sound was transformed as it left that house and went through the open window in the Sally house nursery, because that was the closest point. And by the time it got to that recorder, it just sounded a bit different, but it was still, with that information, you could say, oh yes, this does sound like an electric saw. But I still actually cannot prove that without a shadow of a doubt. I heard some noises, but the timing's not exact. I don't know exactly what was happening in the moment. So the best I can do is give that as my explanation. And like Kenny says, I probably have to say it's speculation. Still, good speculation probably, but speculation.
My recent trip to the McIntyre Villa in not too far from the Sally house, like 2 blocks, it's a few blocks. But a weird thing happened when I was filming something else. Like I was checking something in the attic, and I heard what sounded like somebody screaming or crying, scrying, screaming and crying.
We all do it.
And I went to check and found out that there are feral cats that live out back. Like the owner has enclosures out back for the cats, and it was them. Funny enough, as I was going through videos posted by the owner of that place, she posted a similar video with screaming or somebody crying, and it sounds exactly like what I picked up. But it's the cats that are doing this, and that's not something that's brought up. So that's why we always have to check and recheck and double check and triple check. So
I honestly can't believe that. I really dislike that the owner wouldn't consider that as a potential problem for investigations taking place there, to have a family of feral cats out back, if they're actually being fed by the owner and living there.
I mean, the enclosures are like,
they have enclosures for the cats and everything.
Oh yeah, so they have no clue.
You cannot have live-in pets at a paranormal investigation.
it smells like cat pee.
Yucky.
It's bad. Yeah.
So that's bad news.
I didn't know that one had to be said, but now it has been said. No pets on your paranormal investigations.
Exactly. You're exactly right. Because that's it's just contamination right there. You might as well just go home. So, any final advice to everybody out there if they're interested in capturing EVP sounds or whatever?
Try to control the environment as best you can.
And know that you can't.
Yeah. Document what you can.
He's right.
And your limitations.
Yeah.
I mean, that's if you're going to attempt to employ science, first I commend you for doing that. Please, learn as much as you can and try the best you can. If you need help, reach out. But one of the things that when you read any kind of scientific papers, when they publish peer-reviewed papers, there will be a section in there. There's methodology. Well, you have the abstract, you have the methodology, you have any protocols, you have the bulk of your paper, you have your conclusions, but you also have limitations in there, and it lists what they couldn't account for, or if there was any kind of other limitations where they had to do something a certain way because of something wasn't available, or equipment wasn't available, or they learned something later on. Note your limitations and be upfront about it, because at least if you're upfront, we can't fault you for that, because you were upfront with us. We can help. It's more of a discussion. Let's talk about it and see if we can improve what you're trying to do. Learn about science, learn and understand what it means, and how to employ it, and look at what you're doing. Make sure there's a purpose. Make sure you understand the equipment that you're using, and you're not just going in there blind.
Right.
You saw it on TV or something. Understand how to interpret that data. If you don't, ask someone that does. There's no shame in asking for help.
Exactly.
Especially with this, because the alternative is that you put something out and you look extremely silly, and we all make fun of you behind your back.
No, you do it in front of our faces too. That's all right.
I do. Ask Mason.
It's true.
And don't take it personally if somebody corrects you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that's how we learn. I mean, that's why we put it out here.
We're trying to help. We're all trying to help each other. And if we offer advice or we make a correction, especially if we make a correction and explain why.
Yep.
It's not talking down to someone. It's not, dare I say, mansplaining. I explain my actions all the time, and I do that automatically. And I only said that, Mason, because I've been accused of that so many times. But I will explain it because I'm making a statement.
Right.
So
Right.
I want to make sure I'm clear and clarify what I mean. If you already know what I mean, well, more power to you, because sometimes I don't even know what I mean until I say it.
Right.
Oh
Oh,
God.
It's not
I'll
just
finish
me.
that for him.
It's not just me. See?
See, the spirits are speaking. We're in trouble.
Yeah, but it's always better to err on the side of over-explaining than under-explaining, especially when it comes to things like putting this information out there on the places like YouTube. The worst thing you could do is under-explain.
Yeah.
And, obviously we want to try to get it the perfect explanation, but better to err on the side of caution. Like I had in the recent video I did for the little chubby cub guy, I have a 6-minute explanation of what I think most people understood in about 10 seconds. Yeah. But the problem is I needed to be sure I got this point across, because if I didn't, then the rest of the video falls apart.
right.
And it's so important to remember that kind of stuff. And Crow actually had to spell that out for me, because I sent him the video ahead of time and I said, hey, this is what I'm going to put out. He went, dude, you did not explain that well enough. So I raced back home and I recorded another section for it like the day before it went out, just because I wanted to be 100% sure.
So no, that's the best way to go. So
No, my dogs, my dog and my wife are up right above me and they're playing, and all I hear is boom, 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 boom. They're all jumping around. Oh boy.
they're just letting you know, okay, you've been down there long enough. Come on.
That's the subtle hint.
Well, because Donna's not on here to say, okay, Kenny, come on, let's go.
I know. Usually she's off to the side going,
Yeah, move along, move along. I know, it makes me
Go
laugh.
home.
No more questions.
All right, one more question. Here we go. Are there any ghost hunting channels on YouTube that you think get things right consistently.
Ooh, that's the consistently. That's the trip. That's the
Yeah.
trip up
Yikes.
right there. I
As far as true scientific method goes, I'm not sure I've seen it in the style that most people see paranormal investigations done. I like the APRF. I think they do a pretty good job.
Yeah, they're doing
Um,
something different. They're not just hunting. They're investigating
yeah.
outside the box.
They're
Right.
still not. I wouldn't put them in the typical box of what people expect.
Right. Actually,
Um,
I invited them to be here with us tonight, but they couldn't make it because their schedule wouldn't allow it. So it's
Mhm.
because I'm really interested in what they're doing. I like it that they're going in a different direction, and I think we need
Yeah.
to do that. We need to start going
And I
in other
think-
directions.
I think, and this is what I did. I say it all the time: is I saw Kenny after I was no longer mad at Beardo and willing to listen. I saw a video that Beardo did with Kenny, and I thought, huh, this is the guy with all the good ideas. And I started going back through his skeptical help bar, and I put together that the best way to investigate was just to investigate the claims, and I just kind of started following in his footsteps there. And I hope that more people start investigating claims. I know Beardo recently has started getting into the claims. And I think he mentioned today about investigating some claims at 30 East Drive, which I think is going to
Right.
be great. And I hope more people kind of take that route in the future.
right.
But yeah,
I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so.
I mean, I don't watch too many paranormal channels. I mean, I watch Beardo and Seg and like Truth or Demons. I get this one. Mason, I do enjoy what you've been doing. I think
Yes, me too.
you are probably the closest to what I would hope to see in YouTube channels dealing with the paranormal, because it's you're going right to the claims. You're using the right tools. You're researching it. You're doing it over. You over explain what you need to over explain. I think that's good. Shows like this where we get together and we talk about these kind of things, I do like, because it's an open conversation and we can have disagreements and talk about it, figure it out, you know, and work it out to a better answer overall, which is great. I tend not to watch the ghost hunting kind of channels because they annoy me. they really annoy me sometimes. I do think people try, and as long as they're trying sincerely and don't use the excuse of, well, it's good enough, because when you do that, that's almost like giving up and just saying, well,
Right.
you know, it's good enough. We're just going to do it anyway. So yeah, I can't comment too much on that, even though I did comment a lot because I just talk a lot. So
Yeah.
it's just me.
Over
I
explain.
agree
We
with-
take it all in. We take it all
I
in.
have trouble watching the anomaly hunters, which is probably 98% of the channels out there, because most of the time it's just talking to walls, and if they're not talking to walls, they're talking to GhostTube, and then I turn it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to see more of the channels that are trying to, like, I'm probably gonna put them on the spot, like the Paranormal Quest episode that we talked about earlier in this show.
Right.
Yes. Mhm.
I would have liked to seen the two guys of that channel question more,
Mhm.
and like one of the best questions, the most important questions that you can have in your arsenal is, how do you know that? Like, just using that question, you could have asked that 10, 20 times during that video.
Right.
And I would like to see that more. If people are making claims and putting out their stuff like the CIA has done this, like, how do you know that?
Right.
Where can I go look for that? If people are saying, well, I think it does this. Well, why do you think and you don't know? Like, are we just, again, lawn darts?
Yep.
Or are we actually doing something that we know is supposed to work? Like, question more. Don't be afraid to question. It's okay. It really is okay. And if somebody gets pissed off at you because you're questioning them, that's on the other person, not you.
Right.
Yeah, I do watch Paranormal Quest because I think they, like you said, they have some interesting new stuff that they've been trying, and you know, like they did reach out to you when they went to the Garnett house and captured that Chubby Cup footage, and they did their best to debunk it, but they just didn't have the right tools at the time to get it right.
Right.
And even when I went, it took a lot. It took a lot of trial and error to get it down and to understand thoroughly what was going on there. And I had the ability of hindsight. Like,
And
I
that
got
was-
to watch their video and prepare.
Right.
Right.
And that was one of the issues that we did bring up on during that phone call, which was funny because here I'm sitting. I just took a shower, which was disgusting, in the Sally house.
Mm.
And because
You are so bold for that.
well, you know what? Stevie did it first, and she let me
Okay,
know.
all right.
She's like, it's kind of okay, except for they're like. Anyway,
Just don't let nothing touch you. That's all.
So I'm sitting in the middle of the couch in the living room of the Sally house with Stevie on one side, Seg on the other, holding this phone, talking to the PQ guys that are in the Garnett house, trying to figure out what's going on. But as you said, like, I didn't have the hindsight because I hadn't seen anything except that like 5-second clip that they had. I wasn't there. I couldn't play with the toy itself. I didn't know how level the floor was.
Right.
And I told them straight up, like, one of the issues is that your camera setup doesn't allow me to see what's behind that wall. So how do I know one of you aren't behind that wall? And just
Right.
I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm just saying you don't have accountability there. I don't know who's there, who's not. You say you're outside. I don't fucking know. I mean,
Right.
there's no way. So, but they were great. I'm glad that they reached out because we did talk. We talked for like 45 minutes to an hour on that. And I'm also very happy that when they included us in that video, that they did not speak for us. They just said they reached out, played some of the clip from Seg, but didn't speak for me or Stevie or Seg himself, which is
Right.
good. That's how you're supposed to do it. Because I would have been pissed. But no, I did meet them though. I met both of them. We had lunch one day and then dinner the next day. Really nice guys. I mean, it was cool to hang out.
Oh, that's great. One Take Adventure says, I spent a lot of time in cemeteries. You think one day something might get my attention, or do you think you have to be looking for it?
Depends on what it is.
Is this
Yeah.
you have to open your mind to it to be able to experience it debate? That's a pretty common one I hear. It's like, well, you're too close-minded. And I'm not. I'm a believer and very open to experiences, but
I would
I don't
question
quite
them.
think that's
Why?
what this is.
Why? I mean, you're already dead for like days before you get to the cemetery. So why would you haunt the cemetery?
Why not?
Touche.
Why not?
Yeah, I always say I really hope I could move around so I could go haunt Disneyland or somewhere fun instead of wherever boring place I end up dying.
I'm going out in space.
Yeah, I'm going to Mars.
There you go.
I want to go see what
I
a
don't
black hole
know.
looks
I
like.
would be bored on Mars. Mars would be fun for 10 minutes, and then you realize it's a red desert and
Then you move on.
you're stuck.
No, I'm gonna
No,
find.
you actually can't go back.
I'm gonna
Gravity
find
would
the
keep
face.
you there.
I'm gonna uncover the big face. I'm gonna find the alien ship that's underneath there, and I'm gonna.
Ooh. I didn't even think about the alien ship.
Turn
or the-
everything on, you know.
Mm.
I mean, if I'm already a ghost, I can make anything. up.
What if you get there and you find out Mars is flat? Flat Mars
Mars.
theory?
Plant Mars theory. Oh my God.
That's the next thing I'm gonna send you.
I think he's got us on that.
Oh my God.
Send you a frisbee painted like Mars.
We're actually going to end it with that one because that was a good one. So, I want to thank you guys for joining us. We had a great time, a lot of great information. And of course, you know who these guys are. Go check them out. Subscribe if you're not. Shame on you. But until next time, guys, always remember to live life a little bit on the raw side. Everybody have a great night.